Hi all, good morning everybody. I am Manjit, the presenter of today's seminar. Here we are going to discuss about FM coding standards and management for the best practices of project. This is my profile. You can visit for more and you can contact me. First of all, the things that we are going to discuss here, there are five major points here. First one is FileMaker coding standard, File Mindfire coding standard, application or customized coding standard, project management, backup and updates. First of all, let you know what is coding standard. Actually, coding standard is nothing but the naming convention that are set up guidelines for a specific programming language that recommended programming style, practices and methods for each aspect of a piece of program written in the language. This naming convention the cover file of organization, the folder structure, the declaration, statements, naming conventions, program practices, principles, rules, and the architectural best practices. In FileMaker, the architecture means the folder structure that we use to put our files. Second one is the file naming that we followed. Third one is the type of files that we use to build our application, like single file system or multi-file system. That is, then it includes the layout designing, database definitions, then your relationship management, then your scripting. All these are the architecture of our FileMaker. And to follow a set of rules for that build up for the architecture for our application is nothing but the coding standard. Then what is FileMaker coding standard sheet? Generally there are three types of naming conventions in FileMaker. First one is camel case, second one is Pascal case, and third one is the underscore format. First of all, camel case. Camel case contain the first word must be all letters small, and the second letter second word first letter must be in caps, then followed by the small letters, like that. In Pascal case, the it is just like a word case, title case, like the first letter of each word will have the caps. The third one is the underscore format, where we use underscore to distinguish the words that contain within that file field name of table naming or of object naming that we created inside the FileMaker. Then FileMaker coding standard uh, used for basically three different areas, that database definitions, layout designing, and the scripting. The database definition contain the table naming, the field definitions, the relationship or the TOC's creation, the tabular creation occurrence graph that we have in FileMaker. Second one is the layouts that we uh, create to display data, manage data, that mostly that is the Pascal case. Then the scriptings, the name of the script, the title, then the header, the comments, the variables get used. All these stuffs need some naming convention to follow for the designing of the application. First of all, naming conventions for tables. Naming of tables are straightforward, that is camel case convention. And for best practice, we don't use the special letter like hash, dollar, at the rate, percentage, periods, all these stuffs to name of our FileMaker tables. Like here we are having the original tables like this, the main icon set, rules, all these are the table names, and these are the original table TOC. And for best practice also, don't use any white space, because when we are use the white space and use one table naming, it's shows that it's consider always for the first word for the name, table name, and the other one is some other text, so it will be create problem. So better to not use space or any reserve words that used by FileMaker or any SQL server, that is Oracle database, because we mm, the application might use the external data sources for the same. Then naming conventions for fields. Naming of fields are like the table, it's also straightforward with either camel case or Pascal case conventions. A field name should not be include any special characters like hash, dollar, equal to, at the rate, percentage, or period. And for best practice, we advise not to use the space, because that might that creates problem in some calculation when we include the fields in uh, calculation like execute SQL, because there the space is not allowed. If you put fields names in space including a space, then it consider something else, so it's raise error. So better not to use the space unless and until you use for some UI purpose or export field. Then there was some naming convention to notify the type of field, and the abbreviation that usually used for field type notification, like N is number, T for text, D for date, I for timestamp, M for sorry, I for time, M for timestamps, R for container, S for summary, P for repeating fields. It is good practice to have this abbreviation in the field naming, so mm, by viewing that field name, user can able to guess what type of data inside that field, or what type of data need to share entry, or to shed to into that particular field. Like example, first name underscore xt, that means it is an input text field. Salary underscore xn, that means it is an input field for numeric data. Date of birth underscore xd, d notify that it must contain, it takes the date type data. Then there are different naming conventions to define different type, different field name, means that means the different category of field, like key fields, global fields, calculation fields, all these different type of fields. uh, like the key fields we used to uh, start with a k. K means key. So to for the primary key we usually uh, have three underscores, then k stand for key, p stand for primary key. Then for the foreign key we usually use two underscores first, then k, f, then the field name, field type, field name. That is, suppose it's numeric, then triple underscore k, p, then n for numeric, then contact id, like this. For foreign key, double underscore kf and company id. Then like use single underscore for the alternative key, that is underscore k a, then field type, and then field name. Here is the examples: triple underscore kfen underscore contact id, double underscore kft company id, underscore kat underscore company name. Here the n t, these are notify that the key field contain numeric data or text data, and the underscore, triple underscore k, double underscore k, single underscore k, that stands for the key field. If we came across this type of name, then we first notify that this is the key field. Then the what type of field it is: if it is p, then it is primary key; if it is f, it is foreign key; if it is a, it is alternative key. Then if it is the third letter is n, that stands for it is numeric field. If it is content t, it is text field, like that. For the global field naming, usually it's started with a letter small g, then the field type, then the field name. Example is here: g n underscore current contact id. That means these global fields contain current contact id, that is selected, that is global, stored global, scope is global, and it's contain the numeric type data. GT underscore selected company, that is the company name that's selected, and it is global and having the text data type. G a new button, that is the container, that is just an container field which is showed you the new button. gm underscore current timestamp, that contain the current timestamp which is stored in global. Then the utility developmental fields naming, that's usually prefixed with a small z or double z underscore. The single z is used to notify for the utility field, and the double z underscore is used to free heading as a prefix for the development fields. For example, z underscore constant 1, this contain simply 1, that is used to in different purpose to set some data for a specific purpose, that is like an utility. Z underscore active status, that means this is for the developmental use or to relate some data. Suppose when we are want to fetch some active records, active which in active state, at the time what we need, we just need one field that will have the text that is active, then relate to the status field of the required table to relate, then create a TOZ by using this zz underscore active status with mapping to the status field, and then we create an relationship and then we filter out the active records. So this is the developmental fields naming for use. Then the calculation fields naming. Calculation field naming should suffix or prefix with a phrase small c, that's called the calculation, then followed by the return type, that is if it is returning the text, then it must follow for the notification of text, that is t. If it is numeric, it is n. If it is time, it must have I. If it is returning the timestamp, then it must have m, so on. The notification for the calculation field naming convention, hence C calculation return type, then the field name. For example, here full name underscore city, this stands that this full name fields return text type data which is calculated. That means we generally use the concatenation of first and last name to make the full name of the salutation plus the first name and then the last name concatenated to generate the full name. There, for that type of field we use this naming convention like full name underscore ct. Then like the total price, we use the unit price into the quantity equal to the line price. Show distance, to notify that field we usually use line price underscore cm. That means this field returning the calculated numeric data. Like that, add new record button underscore share underscore delete record button, like that. We whether you use as prefix or suffix, that depends up, upon the choice and consistency. Then summary field naming. Summary field should have a prefix like small s underscore, then the name of the field, like example s underscore total price, s underscore number of contacts, like that. Then naming of TOGs. TOGs nothing but the table occurrences relationship graph, and this actually followed the anchor voice system, that anchor voice to uh, to to author, they uh, combinedly gave a convention, naming convention to the TOG, a name after them. It is called as anchor voice naming convention, and mostly three alphabets used for the abbreviation of TOGs, that we usually declare on the top of the relationship window. Like here we are having the legends here, the legends that declares the abbreviation of the original tables, which is the TOGs, like MAN stand for main, ICS icon set, like this. These are the TOGs that we are having, like SRT equal to short. These are the definition, this is the notification that we are using this TOG for this table, this TOG for this table. These are the legends, and these are pure TOG, that is FND for find, which stands ICS icon set, STS for status, REL for real. Then the naming of TOG, like CMT to CM, the contact, the left hand, that is the contact company table, that is having a relation with the primary key and the foreign key, that is the company ID, from CMT to CUN, and this notification comes from this anchor voice naming system, that is the CMT underscore CUN double underscore company ID. The CMT first small letter, that is that sense that this is the parent is CMT, that is the company underscore, then next use table name, that is the CUN, that stand for contact, then double underscore, the mapping field name, relational field name, that is the company ID. This is the basic structure that for the definition and naming convention of TOGs, table occurrences. Then naming of layouts. Layouts should name as simple, that is description of layout underscore the table occurrences, base table occurrences, that based on which the layout created. For example, company details underscore CMT, that means the base table of the layout is CMT, that is the company list underscore CMT, that sense that its base table is CMT, and the company list sense that it shows the list of the companies. In case to differentiate between utility and user interaction layout, naming can be prefixed with some text like UI for user interaction layout, like UI underscore the description of the layout. Then within the angular, the square bracket, we can have the table occurrence name, or you can use the underscore, then table name, like we have here. If there are big project and you are having the numbers of modules where repeatedly you are using some same type of scripting, like showing the detail screen, showing the list screen, or you are having the same repeating list naming, but to make consistence and to recognize the layout by its naming, uh, then we use certain section name code as, as the leading prefix data. So by doing that name, we show that this layout is from that particular uh, module or submodules or section. Like here we are having UI underscore admin underscore role details, and in square bracket we are having role. That means UI stand for the that it is the user interacting screen, that is, and this admin shows that it's this screen is belongs to under comes under the admin module. Then underscore role details, that shows that it is what it is, that is it is showing the role details or contain the role details. Then rol in angular brace, sorry, the square brace, that's told that notify that its base table is rol. Rol is nothing but it is the abbreviation of rol. Then naming convention for the custom functions, that is, and there are two type of custom function we generally get in our FileMaker application. That is, one is public custom function and private custom function. Public custom function is nothing but the all privileged access. That means each and every user can able to access that function. Private function is for a group of or a particular privilege type of customer can user can access into that custom function, that is the private. To notify that public or private, we usually have an suffix 3 letter, that is pub for the public and pvt for the private. And the cf using is to notify for the custom function, which is heading by the function names underscore cf, then pub or pvt. Then the parameter name always in the Pascal case, sorry, camel case, so the first word is start from small letter, and then the second word first letter will contain the capital letter, and likewise here we are getting the custom function parameters must be camel case, that I have already told you. Then the function headers, function must have an header where we can get the 6 declaration over there. One is the name of the author who created this function name, then the second one, the created on which date the function get created. The third one is the function name. The fourth one is the description. Fifth one is the function parameters that invoked uh, by this custom function. Then sixth one is the return type. For example, the name here, roundoff underscore cfn pop number decimals. This sense that this is a roundup function and that accessible to public. CF stand for the custom function, and this N stand for the return type. This you may or may not use for your custom function, but to provide the return type notification with the function is always better, because by that one can know that this custom function returns numeric data or text type data. Here is a custom function details that has been roundup. This is created by the author heading, that is the created by Mindfire solution, then created on the date 13/9/16. 13 is the year, 9 is the month, and 16, that means it is 16th September 2013. This custom function has been defined or created. Name of the function is roundoff underscore cfn pop purports to rounding of a value up to specified decimals. Parameters numer. Now first one is the two parameters it is invoking, that is one is number and another one is decimals. The number one is the number to rounding off, the second one is the decimals, a numeric integer for decimal precision to round up the data, and this is the body of the function. This is the accessibility. Here all accounts, that is why we notify at pub public. If it is checked the second option, then we might say it is pbt, that is private, or that is only able to access by the personal or the specific type of user. The naming conventions for the scripts. Script naming convention for scripts are nothing but the script grouping, script naming, script header, variable namings, inline comments, all these stuffs. The first of all, script grouping. Script groups should be grouped into folder subfolder structure, so you can save or include the scripts onto the specific folder. So when you want to access them or you want to look at them, you can directly go into that particular module or sub modules or via the module folder subfolder structure, so you can directly find that script. But if you not following this convention and not creating any folder structure, then you gonna missed where the script is. You just go on a linear search and then find, oh, I got like this. So avoiding that, you need to use the folder structure like we have here. This is the module, that is admin, then the user. Under user we are having navigation, scripts, round record scripts, find scripts, sorting scripts, utility scripts. Like this user, again the admin is contain another section, that is the role, which is having the similar type of scripts which are grouped under the similar type of subfolder. Here navigation, record, find, sort, utility, and each section is having a separator like this. This is the well defined folder structure for grouping of script. Then script naming. The name of script always having an anchor TOC name, or the type of script, that is script name and then underscore script name, and the type of script. This type of script may be utility, or it is called from the button, or it is a trigger function, trigger script, or it might be a subscript like that. To notify the utility script, the prefix must be utl, for suffix sub, all this in the caps, and within a square bracket, then underscore, then followed by the name of the script. Then script header. The script header should have contain the 8 things. First one is the name of the script, second is the date it get created, third the purpose or the work or the return of that particular script function or script, fourth one is the declared variables, that means the variables that get used inside the script, then a referenced variable, global variables, if it's created in other global other scripts and still using in your current script, then must be name that variables. Then the sixth point, that is the parameters, that is the most important thing, who is say the input data of that calling script, the current script that take, because in FileMaker scripts are also nothing but the functions. Then the seventh point is the subscripts that used, and that means the script that called from this script. Then the last is the calling scripts, that means from where which script is calling the current script, that is the color, so that must be there. Then variables naming. Variable are generally two types in FileMaker. One is local and another one is global variable. The variables always followed the camel case. Inline comments. The inline comments are most important because when we are writing a lot of lines, script steps inside a script, having 200 or 1000 or some hundreds like that, at that time we must need the inline comments, because we gonna miss there, because if there any issue or something you need to modify, then you need to go through each and every steps and check what it does. So if we having a group like section and having some inline comments, at that time we can know that this section does this thing, this section does this thing, so you can directly go into that section by following that inline comments and then modify directly, or you can remove or do anything you want for that section. So inline comments is very important in that case. Here are few examples of the script name, like square bracket btn underscore new company. This sense that this calling from a button which create new company. Then utl underscore short records, that sense that it is doing some utility work like shorting up records. Third one is saf within a square bracket underscore import related contacts. That means this script is calling from some other script, so it's naming its prefix of, like here we are having the script name here, then the created by the signature, that 130628, that is the date 2013 month 6, and at the date 28th of June 2013 it has been created. The purpose of this script is to show user info in detail screen. It's taking the parameter as user ID. Subscripts that's calling inside this function is shop underscore admin section, chat section. Then call by, this is calling from the user list screen, arrow button. Then this is the body of the script. Here is the inline comments. Go to detail screen, update section. This inline says that this section is does what, this line is does what, this. Then naming conventions for the value list. The value list name must have a suffix with the list type. That means what type of value it returns. First, small c stands for the custom value. X stands for the that it's rendering data from value list from other file. D stands for it's having a dynamic list who is coming from a table field related, and R stand for the related values, that is coming from a particular related TOZ fields. For example, here status list underscore C, that means it's custom value, giving the list of custom values. Company ID and name list underscore D, that means it's giving the list of IDs and name list that comes from a particular table, that is company, you can guess from here. And it's just the state naming, dynamically it's taking all the company IDs and names list, and it might vary time to time, depends upon the number of companies that has been in the database. Then third one is company contact person underscore R, that is the related contacts person for current company, because the R says that it's coming from a related TOZ. Then Mindfire coding standard. As for a recognition company value, Mindfire is also having a specific coding standard that followed is in every projects that execute in or developed in Mindfire solutions, and is in every developer is bound to refer those naming convention that has been declared by the company, that is Mindfire Solutions. So it is specific, uh, it is the standard that we usually followed for developing the applications when we are designing the architecture of the application in our company. Then the application customized coding standard. Application or customized coding standard, that is a specific naming conventions that follows for a particular project or company, which might not be a standard coding that are defined by the FileMaker corporation or not by Mindfire solution itself. It might be a coding standard that provided by the client, that is for which this application is going to design, or it may be a custom coding standard or the naming conventions that following for a particular type of project or a particular project where we need a different coding standard, or we want to client some function that order has suggested that we must follow a specific standard to design the application at that time, that is the customized coding standard. That is an modified version of combined version of standard coding standard of FileMaker. Then what are the benefits of coding standards? As we are following the coding standard, we must know that what are the benefits that came from the by following the coding standard. There are many benefits available we can get from this coding standard follow. The five major area is software maintenance, software engineering, driven down complexity, quality, refactoring. First, how it is beneficial for us for software maintenance. Suppose we are having a getting a project to fix some area or enhancement of a particular section. At that time, if a standard coding not followed for designing that application, at that time we need to open that application, go to each and every section, look at what the each section does, and then we can get an idea that the application is doing these things and this section or that section is doing this type of functionality. Then only we can refer to the particular section on which we want to fix some issue or we want some enhancement. So at that time we we can get the benefits of coding standard, because if it is based on a specific coding standard, we can view at those coding standard document that given by the application, the designer of the application. By referring that coding standard, we can get that this folder or this layout or this table is having the functionality of this, and directly we go into that section and we can enhance that one. So it can save us from go mad or a random search. So it is easy to maintain a file or the application or a project by using the coding standard. Second one is software engineering. As we are in software industry, we must follow the engineering of the application, uh, which needs a basic architecture, and the engineering beauty is on follow standard rules that defined. So to show a good engineering, we must have a coding standard. So if we are having a coding standard, that means we are following good software engineering. Then the third one is driven down complexity. Driven down complexity is that is also came under the maintenance. Like suppose we are having a we are going to start a large application. At that time, to simplify the application, the coding standard will help us in a large amount. Like if we are having a coding standard which gives us the folder structure, the modularization. So by viewing that modular structure, we can define into various modules, sub modules. So the complexity of that large project has been divided into different sections. Then it is easy to coding or develop that project. Or if it's comes into the maintenance, again the same thing. If it is having a coding standard, we can directly go into the section as I have described earlier. Then quality, you know, quality always comes from a organized, well defined and good product. And good product must have came across few rule and regulation or proper step development, which is nothing but the coding standard. And if we are having a good coding standard, the output of that development must be a quality product. So to have to increase quality, to have better quality, we must follow the coding standard. So if we are following the coding standard, then no doubt we are generating good quality of application. Refactoring is nothing but the style of beauty of our application, and the beauty of our application came from the architecture, and a beautiful architecture came from a coding standard. If we are following the good coding standard, then we must have a good visibility. If you go into this is like a beautiful structure that admin, then user, then all these subsections we are having. On toggling each section, we can get details of that section. So if you see here if we are maintaining a good coding standard, following a good coding system, then we have the this. So if someone just see a glance of the code, then that person might have a little idea at least that this script does some these things, or here this folder is having scripts for something, the particular section depend, like here someone assume that this folder is containing uh, scripts that does creation deletion of records. Nobody, just a layman can be misconcepts that this folder is having a script who is doing sorting. Never. Sure, this is just an fundamental beauty, that is the so refactoring is the benefits that came from a coding standard that's increased the beauty of our code application. Then project management. What is project management? Project management is nothing to manage your project. Yeah, but how you can manage your project? Just doing coding or designing the application or include the functionality or develop the functionality is not project management. It's include the understanding of user requirements. It is thoughts from the end user perspective, designing a prospect, defining of database, the architecture of the application, the communication with the client, taking backup, taking updates, recording the modifications, delivering to client, or sharing the codes, release the versions of project application, and taking constant backup of the codes. All these stuffs came under in the project management. So basically we are having 6 points. First one is folder structure, second one is coding standard. These two things we have already discussed in the previous section, the coding standard, so we don't need to discuss this again. The third one is code management, consistency, performance, security. Folder structure, that again comes under the coding standard, you can say. So for application we must follow a particular subfolder structure. Coding standard we already discussed, the defined coding standard for a project. That might be a standard coding for the application, or it might be the company standard, or it might be the application oriented coding standard. Third one is code management. Code management is how we can write the proper coding. That means that should be errorless, that must not be have some unused codes, like if you see some guys are coding like that, we setting null to the local variables, but there is no need to set null, because after execution of the script it's vanish. Then there is some global variables get used, but they are not killed or vanish after the script run. They must be null, set null, or vanish after the execution of the functionality of the script. So we should taking about that things. Exception handling must be there. If you are not having, then it is a bad code management. This comes under the code management. Then consistency. Consistency is to follow the same architecture. That means the folder structure, the coding standard, the you re, uh, you delivery to client, to give the updates to client. All these stuffs, they are consistently maintained. So you will have into a habitat schedule, or you can having a good routine to maintain your project. Then performance. Again, performance is everything, because unless your application gives better functionality, the project is not an good. So hence it's not a good management of your project. So performance must be there. Performance means you must have the performance in speed basis, to time saving basis, cost effective. Three area that must be there. Performance, it must be cost effective, time saving, and faster. Then security in FileMaker, we are having 5 layer of security. First is the file level security, that we are giving an username password to the file. That is the file level security. Then the privilege or type of user, that is the security. So in the privilege section, we will having different type of accounts, where we can define the particular accounts user will going to access which section, and which section they can't be accessed. So the sales guy cannot able to see the financial data, the data entry guy can't be see the sales report. All these stuffs we can define. This is the second layer. Third layer is the screen, UI screen that we are providing. There we must have a security level. That means the section that are not accessible to a account or the user must not be shown to user. Then that is the layout level security. So we can use the object hiding features in FileMaker for that. This is the third level security. The fourth, not the least, that is the record level security. We must have the record level security, delete record, duplicate record, edit record, all these stuffs, and that must be defined in the custom menus to provide the particular accounts for particular user a proper access to the record. So a illegal user might not do any harm to the data. Then backup and updates. Backup and updates, simple, that is periodical backup, record updates, cloud storage, SVN usage. Periodical backup is that you must have to take backup in a periodic basis. You may give it a daily basis, or you may take it weekly basis or 2 days. That depends upon your development. Then record updates. Record updates to record the updates you are doing, you are sending to your client. That is more important because human memory is not always known what you did in last 2 years or 2 months ago. Sure, you need to record out the changes that you have made. So it will be advised to record it those things in the daily basis so that you can able to know what you did yesterday or day before yesterday or 3 months ago. So to do that, you must save somewhere in the record format, or you can do the video of what you does that particular day. You can note it down, pen and paper, or you may store somewhere in a text format or something like that, or you can shape the screenshots that you have made changes so that you can refer later. Then the third one is cloud storage. Cloud storage, nowadays there are a lot of cloud storage space coming, like the Dropbox, the Google Drive, Dropbox.com, all these. So please use those cloud storage. So if someday you need your data in somewhere, you just no need to go into your system, or you must not need your system to get those code to access to your application. So you go into the that cloud storage, download that into your local system, and then you can work on that or do anything you want. So cloud storage help in that time. So cloud storage must be followed. Then the fourth one is SVN usage. That is a company level storage or backup system, SVN. So SVN usage is a good practice because there you can have the option to put all your changes for your every commit. So you can do that hourly or daily basis or weekly basis to record your modifications along with your updated file backup. So SPN is that. Okay, that's all from this part. There might be a lot of things, but here I am having this much of information for you for this time, because the time is not that much. Any questions? Thank you. To contact us, here is the details to reach us: our website, or our Facebook link, and our Twitter link, LinkedIn link. Here you may visit us. Thank you.